In this video, we will go through the introduction to inequalities. So on the second page, we have an inequality, which means it is a statement that indicates that one quantity is less than or greater than another. So inequalities, we've got 4 symbols, as shown in red over here. In the first activity, we need to match these symbols with their definitions. So one way to remember it very easily is just by looking at what the symbol looks like. For example, this symbol over here, you can see that the left hand side occupies a lot of space. So there's a big space, and over here it's small. So with that idea, greater than refers to this symbol. Less than or equal to, as such, equal to, we all know that this is the equal sign, less than, and greater than or equal to. Now in activity number 2, you need to use an inequality to represent the relationship involving the given variable for the statements. So in part A, we've got the noon temperature, which is represented by T. Okay, so the capital letter T represents the noon temperature. This temperature is more than 30 degrees. So just as we say it in English, we try and translate it into mathematics. So temperature T is more than 30. In part B, the height h is at least. So at least includes the value 1.8. So it includes 1.8 meters. H is greater than or equal to 1.8. Next one, the combined length, width, and height. So this is represented by the letter C of a hand luggage should not exceed 115. If they say it should not exceed, then it can include 115 also. And of course, values that are smaller than 115 centimeters as well. So C is less than or equal to 115. The passing mark of a test is 50 marks. And Larry got Y and he failed the test. So how do we describe Y? We know that he failed, so he must have gotten less than 50 marks. The daily sugar intake should not be more than 36 grams. So represent M, it should be less than or equal to 36. So take some time to think about in the English to decide whether you have to include 36 or not. Now in example number 1, fill in the blanks. It is just a comparison of which numbers are bigger than the other. So here we have 3.41 is greater than 3.14, 5 is greater than -5, 1/3 is greater than 1/4. For this case, if you're unsure, use your calculator to figure out the values. So in this case, we've got 0.3 recurring, and this is 0.25. So in part D, you need to do some calculations. It turns out that on the left hand side, you get value of 4. On the right hand side, it is 4 as well. So these are equal. So do this as your practice. And we'll move on to example number 2, where you have to represent these inequalities on the number line. So x is greater than 0. We are looking for values that are more than 0. So first, you need to identify a point, 0. You can draw it anywhere that is reasonable on your number line. Okay, so this number line represents x. So you put an x at the end. We want values that are greater than 0. So you indicate, you draw a circle, do not color the circle above the 0, and you draw an arrow pointing to the right. So what this means is that we are interested in values of x that are greater than 0. But because we did not color the circle above 0, it means that we are not including 0. So possible values of x will be 1, 2, 3.5, and so on. Now what is the smallest possible integer value of x? It will then be 1. So I'm going to show you another example over here. X less than or equal to 2. randomly find a point that is reasonable, call it 2, draw a circle above the 2, but because it says x less than or equal to, I want to include the value 2. So you have to color it. And you draw an arrow to the left, indicating we're interested in values less than or equal to 2. So do this yourself. And now move on to the last one, part C. We want x values to be greater than or equal to -5. So put -5. And on the other end, we've got 5. Draw the 2 circles above them. We are interested in the value -5 as well, so color it. To show that we are interested in the values between them, we simply have to draw a line across, joining the 2 circles. So complete this before your lesson.